And what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Achievement Hunting 101 podcast. I'm your host, Kenny, and thank you for joining us. You have made it to level 9. Very exclusive show for you tonight, in that we are talking all about Xbox exclusive games. But before we get to that, I want to introduce my co-hosts. First up, we have L, the big L. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning, Vietnam!
I feel like that's a reference to something, and I don't get it.
Oh, man.
You're so young.
And with that, we have the other old person on the show, Ryan, the Mighty Mango. How's it going?
What? What did you say? Oh, yeah, hi. Off my lawn.
And to help drag down the age average, we have with us Corey, the Rocker Dude 5012. How's it going?
Hey, everybody.
All right, before we get into the main show and start talking Xbox exclusives, we first want to give out our proclamation point. L, if you want to go ahead and do the milestones.
Proclamation! Point.
All right, since L's not prepared. G-Task, everybody. We hit top 50. And by we, I mean nobody here. But there are several community members who did hit top 50, and we want to recognize them. In no particular order, we have Exe the Hero. You remember him from a couple episodes ago. Redemption Denied. No surprise there.
Yeah.
B. Smiddle, our favorite Australian.
Good day, mate.
The other teacher that's not Exe the Hero, Elroy OMJ.
Love that guy.
And Mr. Prue. Fun fact, Prue.
Star Trek. Congrats, everyone. That's awesome. Getting top 50. That's crazy.
That's a pretty big milestone there.
You know what all those 50 people need to do?
Oh, gosh.
Oh.
GG.
Go get some sun!
Well, if that was the case, Fufu would be in the list.
He needs to go get some gamer score, GGSG. No, wait a minute. Go get some. Yeah, see? I have it.
Where's that mute button at? All right. And Ryan, if you would like to shout out the UHH period 3
I would
winners.
love to go over the UHH period 3 winners. We've got Doughboy winning 6-4. We have Elroy OMG. OMJ. OMG. Winning 12-0, so got a little pudding action there. Freemhole winning 8-5. Kooshmoosh we're winning 10-4.
Yeah.
Lots of winners this week.
Chicken
Winners. Michelle, our other co-host, won 15-12.
That was a good matchup.
That's a good matchup. Rocker Dude, you tied 9-9, but I guess you got the winning thing, Corey.
That's all that matters.
Tommy winning 9-0. So another pudding.
Thomas. Good looking.
Chin Doctor winning winning in a tie of 2020.
That's crazy.
It was a crazy one. And it was a pretty fast race too, I believe. Saucy Slingo, who probably doesn't listen to us anyway, but we're gonna give him a shout out because he's saucy. Had another pudding, a 6-0. Skeptical Mario, 11-0. Waka with 10-0. What the fuck? 12-0, and Kronos winning with a 9-0. So a few pudding scores there at the end, but a couple good matches as well.
What about mine?
I was saying you forgot
Oh wait,
somebody.
I forgot the ultimate pudding. Big L, 18-0.
You did really well. Oh my God.
You ask kids why their beds aren't made, and they say, I forgot. You ask them why they're walking with muddy sneakers through the living room, they say, oh, I forgot. But these same kids will ask you, Dad, how come you didn't fix any Jell-O pudding tonight? You said you would 2 years ago, August 12th at 7:31 p.m. You had red sweater on and some loafers brown. And you say, I forgot. And they say, Dad, you're grounded.
What was your highest ratio this week?
You can't be a kid without it.
Yeah. I swear to God,
I'd smash that pudding. I'd smash that pudding.
Pudding next week. We're not mentioning it.
No, there's no more puddings in. There's no more puddings in the KO round, son. No more puddings. What I do have to ask is, why do you people sign up if you're not going to play? I don't understand it. What is wrong with you people?
Exactly the reason why I did not sign up.
See, that's more noble. That is more noble. I don't understand it. You're not getting any badges just for signing up. You only get a stinking badge if you get 10 or more in a week. Even if you got that and stopped, that would make some sense, but I don't know.
Yeah, out of our 14 winners, 8 of them were against puddings. That's crazy. Over half of them.
Makes me so mad and hungry. What kind of pudding do you like, Kenny?
Chocolate?
Well, you have to. You probably. Your wife probably packs you a chocolate pudding snack for your lunch. Like in Billy Madison, get those snack packs.
They're delicious.
Rice pudding's not bad too.
That's for old people.
What?
But let's get off of the pudding talk.
Let's get into the community questions.
This
How about
is
that?
a gaming podcast. Let's talk about achievements. But yes, this is not food. That's MasterChef.
Are we glossing over the team thing that happened in G-Task? Are we just not going to mention that? About a certain person here who was eliminated.
Oh, how
I've been out of it.
it takes Prue to Mango. Got eliminated by 200 points within the last hour of the competition. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Wow.
We can move on from that.
And Mango was texting me that it was Prue's fault, and Prue was texting me that it was Mango's fault.
Nobody was texting anybody that it was anybody's fault.
That's what I remember.
So
Seems legit.
So Prue, I was not texting Big L.
Yeah,
Everybody's
he was texting me.
trying to make us hate each other, and we had a really good time. We had a good run too. So
Good job, you guys. You guys did awesome.
No, you guys did great. Making it this far into the year is great. All right, but seriously, we're gonna get on to our community questions. First one up is from Skeptical Mario. He asks, would you rather earn one 100-point achievement or 100 1-point achievements? For me, I think it depends on the game. Like, if I'm playing something that sucks, like a Neo Geo game, I'd rather just have one 100-point, get them done, get them over with. I don't care about the achievements in that game. But now, if I'm playing something that I enjoyed playing, I would much rather have 100 1-point achievements, because unlocking the achievements is really, really cool. Hitting the center button, scrolling over, and seeing a whole bunch of recent achievements. That's kind of cool. Kind of like when you're playing, Turn On, and you're just popping achievements left and right and getting all the gamer score. That's really neat. That's a really cool thing to do. But yeah, I personally would rather have more achievements. Go with the 100 1-pointers. What about you, Will?
Oh. I was going to say the same thing you did, but I can't agree with you, so I might have to change my answer. No, I would say I agree. It depends on the game. I'd like to think that we'd be playing for achievements, even if they didn't have gamer score attached. So in that aspect, I think we probably would want quantity. But since there is gamer score attached, if there's more achievements, that makes them worth less, right? That's the point of the question. So in something like Halo, you get a bunch of 5-pointers, but there's a lot of achievements to get, and it's cool. You like the achievements popping, yay! They're everywhere, yay!
I mean,
what about a game like a Semblance, though, where you have 10 100-point achievements?
That's horrible. Don't ever have.
There's a lot of games
semblance
like that.
Type of achievements.
yes, I hate the white achievement. I can't pop that stupid thing. It's annoying.
Well, no, I'm just using it as an example. I mean,
but no, for like a Semblance, I like the 10 100-point achievements.
And like the Eye of Koot and those type of games where you get a bunch of 100-pointers, and our
Yeah.
favorite North.
yeah.
Well, if those kind of games I'm more or less playing just to play to get the gamer score, it's not really as much to have fun. Rocker, what about you?
Give me 100 points per achievement. I'll take that. Make it nice, quick, and easy. Tell me and Elroy like it down here in the South.
Yeah. That June bug. Mango laugh.
Yeah, definitely the 100-point achievement. I'd rather do that. I mean, yeah, Turn On was great because you're popping them left and right for everything, which is fun. But in the end of it, I'm all about the gamer score, so give me the 100-pointer.
Yeah. And also, kind of like Elle alluded to, Rocker and I, and then friends Saucy Slingo and What the Fug, we were doing Halo to Master Chief Collection. And while we were doing Halo 3 ODST for the first time, we were kind of doing... We just unlocked a ton of achievements, so we kind of got like the second half of that. I think Rocker, Saucy, and Fug wound up getting like 38, 39 achievements, something like that. And one night I got like 28 or 29. That was awesome.
Oh yeah,
I definitely
remember
prefer
that, not
that
Master Chief.
over, one achievement and getting the same points.
Well, that was kind of like in Halo 4. Did the same thing with the DLC stuff.
Right. Yes. Especially when the achievements are rare, then it's just cool. I like it.
Shakal Star.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say it.
Shakal. All right, we'll go with that.
Shakal Star.
Actually, we'll go with that. That sounds even better. He asks, with the PlayStation Mini out now for pre-order and the already current Nintendo Minis, would you like to see Microsoft do one for the original Xbox? And with that, we also had a similar question, but it asked what games would we add to it. So we'll combine the two. Mango, would you like to see an Xbox Mini? And if so, what games do you want to add?
Well, I mean, sure, I'd like to see it. It'd be cool because I'm probably going to get the PlayStation Mini just because it's a system and I collect systems because I'm weird. I guess some games I'd like to see on it. I mean, yeah, would I get one? Sure, as long as it's not like the NES Classic where I don't want 2-foot controller cables, so I hope that they do like the PlayStation one's going to be, where it's either wireless or USB, so you can add as long a cord as you want with no proprietary stuff. But no, the games that I would like to see, and I'll just name off a couple, would be Psychonauts. That game was so underrated on the original Xbox, but it was so good. Panzer Dragoon Orta, which is kind of like the Panzer Dragoon that is on the current Xbox. Chronicles of Riddick, Butcher Bay, which was great. It's a stealth game, which I actually enjoyed. Jade Empire, another excellent title. Splinter Cell, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, which is also very good. And then my favorite original Xbox game was the SSX Tricky. Played that game so much, and I was going to take video and do the whole thing where you upload your scores online and to the Twin Galaxies and get like the awards for #1 score, kind of like Elroy does, but I did not do that.
That was the snowboarding game, right?
Correct, and I actually remembered that the TV channel G4, which doesn't exist anymore,
I missed.
They had some tool bag that was playing it and showing like how he was playing tricky and getting a good score, and I saw a score, I was like, that's it. So I really like that game.
I remember playing that. Don't have too much memories of it.
Yeah, it was really good.
L, you want one?
I actually do not want one,
Oh,
and for some reason, the OG Xbox was not really one of my favorite consoles.
Get out.
I know, get out of town.
everybody's entitled to their own opinion, even if it's wrong.
That's okay. I, of course, loved Halo and Halo 2.
Oh yes.
But getting one of those systems just to play those games makes no sense. They've been remastered several times now. And with no achievements, are we really going to play the Xbox Mini? I feel like people were hyped for the NES one and the SNES one. They were hyped at launch, and now I never hear about anyone playing them.
Well, it's not Christmas time.
And there are much more fancy devices that play older games. So I think with no achievements attached, really not that interested.
What if you have one just for collector's sake, like Mango?
I remember liking Mech Assault a lot. I think we talked about that kind of as a precursor to Titanfall. And honestly, not much else.
Wow. There's nothing there.
You want me?
All
You
right.
want me? You want me to wow you with my list?
Yes.
So
Definitely.
first off,
Let's hear some
Do it.
fanboyism.
So first off,
Do it.
I would only probably get it if there was achievements. They could do that, right? And the price would have to be right. But let's think about the logistics of the actual product here. If it comes with the original controller, the controller will be bigger than the actual box.
Oh. What if it's wired?
What if it's inside
Ugh.
the controller? Maybe that's the plan the whole time.
Maybe.
All right.
I mean, it could fit on the Duke.
Anyways, so I was kind of going through the list earlier today, and I actually stopped halfway through. One, you guys were adding some of the good games anyways, but we don't need to go through the entire list. But some of the best ones on the OG Xbox were Amped, snowboarding game. Blinks
was
the
good.
Time Sweeper. I don't want any hate on that. That was fun. Fusion Frenzy, The Simpsons Road Rage. Foof.
Good one.
That was like Crazy Taxi,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
SSX Tricky is on my list.
See, now you're starting to name games that were also on PS2. So it gets a little
Doesn't
tricky
matter.
there.
It's,
Like
it
SSX
doesn't matter.
tricky.
I have two.
Does
I
matter,
have two
sir.
more,
Nice.
and I'm pretty sure that these
on.
were exclusive. I know one of them was. No, three of them. Jet Set Radio Future.
Great.
Jet Set Radio.
We need a remake of that. To be honest.
Absolutely.
This game, I don't expect anybody here to play it, but me and my friend loved it, and it's called Enclave. Anybody know about that game?
Yeah, actually, I have it.
I know.
I don't
the
remember.
ti-
I
but
could,
have
I
it.
couldn't tell you anything about it. I just know I loved it, and if I could find it again on a recent console, I would get it. And then the last one is probably my favorite exclusive of all times of that generation, and it's Oddworld Munch's Odyssey.
Munch, munch, munch.
Suck it,
Never
L.
played any of the Oddworld.
Oh, I did forget about the Star Wars games, the Knights of the Fug Republic. So look out for those ones.
Absolutely. Yeah. For me, if they were to come out with one and it was the right price, I'd like to have one for the collection. But yeah, I would get one mostly for the collection because at the rate Microsoft's going, more likely than not, within 5 years, all these games are going to be backwards compatible anyway. And I would probably rather play them on the one. But let's say they don't do the OG backwards compatibility and these are the only ways to get on them. Yeah, I'd want one. And with it, what I'd want on it, similar to what you guys have kind of said, the Halos 1 and 2, Fusion Frenzy, KOTOR. But along with that, a few other ones that haven't been mentioned is Fable. Like I mentioned, I think it was last week I mentioned that. Crimson Skies, which they actually announced that at the backwards compatibility OG launch at E3 last year. But we haven't seen anything from that. It's interesting. Morrowind, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, the best Morrowind. I'd say Medal of Honor European Assault. They have to throw a Medal of Honor on there. Those games are so good. And European Assault was my favorite out of all of them. You mentioned KOTOR, L. The other Star Wars game that needs to be added is Battlefront 2. The best Star Wars game. That game was so good.
Oh, yeah. It's got too many loot boxes, though, man. You can't have that.
Oh, not that Battlefront 2.
Oh.
The good Battlefront 2. I see the
Yeah,
confusion.
the original.
And
Would it be Battlefront 2 Classic?
Sure.
Yeah, that's actually a good differential. Yeah, we'll say that. Right? You know what I mean. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. And yes, like Elle said, Mech Assault. Why have we not had another Mech Assault? Microsoft, you own the copyright to Mech. Titanfall was alright. I want another Mech Assault. I want a remaster of those games. I love them things.
I like the first one over the second one. The second one I did not like as much as the original.
Yep.
I think I remember liking the second one more, but I couldn't tell you why.
Well, it looked a little bit better, but I thought the
Possible.
first one played better.
That, honestly, I can't remember too much about the difference between them, but I really want Mech Assault back. I was tempted to just go play those things for fun a while ago, but it being so old, I highly doubt it holds up. I really just want a new Mech Assault. But that kind of takes us into our discussion segment, which is going to be Xbox exclusives. Obviously, Xbox, they have theirs. PlayStation, they have their own. It's the big one. But, the biggest PlayStation game as of right now is probably Spider-Man. That's unfortunately an exclusive. I'm probably going to have to buy that just to play it. I have a PS4 just because it looks so good. But obviously,
all right, impromptu question. Would you buy a
pros and
console
cons.
just to play one game?
Yes, I would. And I have. I got the PS4, and the only game I've played on it so far is Digimon Cyber Sleuth.
Oh, why would you admit that?
Because it's Digimon.
You
It's
bought
good.
a PS4 for Digimon?
Oh
No.
my God, my
No, to be fair,
scrotum
I didn't buy it.
hurts. Oh God,
I didn't buy it.
why?
It was actually a Christmas gift.
No. Oh,
But
thanks,
that-
Santa.
But it was still for
$400 Digimon game. Wow.
Hashtag worth it. It was very good.
Did you get all the trophies?
No.
Did you
I need
play
to play
it?
it again. Did I play it? Yeah, I put like 90 hours into it. I played the crap out of it.
90 hours in the first day,
Yeah, I think that math works out.
and then you fell off the earth.
What about you, El? Would you buy a PlayStation or a Nintendo for an exclusive?
Well, anybody who buys any Nintendo console is usually for one to 3 games, so
Fair.
maybe.
Well,
Remember when
besides your
Nin-
kids having to Switch, would
Yeah,
you
remember when
would
Nintendo
you buy
64
one for
launched
yourself?
with 3 games? Do you remember that? I knew you were a Nintendo 64 player.
I never had an N64.
No? Oh my gosh.
I had a PlayStation.
Yeah, and then Nintendo 64, you would get to play Mario, and that's it. So I guess in that, with that said, probably yes, I would. Back in the day, I would. Now, probably not.
Well, with that being said, what game would you buy now if you're to buy
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man? I figured.
Because it looks really fun. Just the traversal of it looks really fun. But I've heard it's a great story on top of that, and everything's supposed to be really good. And there's costumes to unlock, and it just sounds so good. But just gonna have to leave it alone.
What about you, Corey? Would you buy one for an exclusive game?
I've really been debating about it for Spider-Man, but
We should all get together and play.
yeah, the logistics
We can go to-
work out pretty well for that.
I'll go
Easy.
down south.
Oh
I'll
man,
go down south with you, baby.
go about
For Spider.
3-4 hours west, and you can pick up Elroy on your way.
Yeehaw!
What about
Anyways,
Yeah.
I've been really toying about getting a PlayStation 4 recently because of Spider-Man. And then some days it's good, some days it's bad. I'm looking for deals. But then the other day it's like, I'm never gonna play this again after this. So ultimately, probably not. But if the right deal came,
Kind of opens up a rabbit hole. Would you then get God of War? Would you get The Last of Us and this and that? Kingdom Hearts 72,008 and all that stuff?
that's probably gonna be the next game I buy. It's one of the Kingdom Hearts remixes, so Brooke and I can play them together.
Aww. You can shoot Bambi together.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do in that game.
I would buy
Ryan,
it
how
if-
about you? You buying a PlayStation 4 or Nintendo Switch?
I have both already. I have 2 Switches and a PS4.
Oh, okay then.
Are they used?
And no, all brand new. I was actually gonna get a PlayStation 4 Pro, but I haven't been playing it at all. I actually got a PlayStation 3 for God of War when that came out because I knew God of War was coming because I really like God of War. PlayStation 4 I bought just because it was a new system. I kind of do that a lot.
I can imagine
Switch I
you
did
bought
not.
two Switches.
The Switch I did not get at. Yeah, the Switch I did not get at launch. Well, the Switch. Actually, I did buy a Switch for a game. For one game.
I know what it is. But go ahead.
For Minecraft. Yep.
Achievements.
Yeah, I had to get the achievements, which I don't have them all yet because I was having issues with it connecting to worlds because of version conflicting.
Ugh.
But the kids, I was gonna not buy one, but because of things outside of gaming, the kids took the Switch with them, so I didn't have one, so I went and bought one. So I'm just gonna buy my own. So that's what I did.
So $300 for 1,000 gamer score. Yeah, seems smart.
Seems smart.
Yep.
Seems smart.
Yep, totally.
Okay.
Well, have you played any exclusive games on PlayStation?
PlayStation, not the PS4. No. Well, no. What I played one of the launch games. Now I think about it, that came out on it, and I can't think of the name of it. It was really bad though.
Nah, I couldn't.
I only own like 2 retail games on the PS4, but I don't really own any games on the PS4 at all. But no, I usually just buy systems and in the anticipation that there will be a game I want, and I don't want to. It's the FOMO, fear of missing out. So that's how I look at it.
Okay.
That's L's favorite acronym.
Well, it could be FOMMO, fear of Mighty Mango missing out.
Ooh, yes, there we go.
All right.
That's how.
Sorry for derailing the Xbox exclusive talk. Go ahead.
That's all good. We're used to it. What do you guys think are the best Xbox exclusive series or games? Games or series? We'll start with you, Mango.
You have Gears, which is good. Halo, which is good. But I guess my favorite for a while was actually the Forza series, because I like racing games. Probably because I do that kind of stuff with cars for real. But I've actually enjoyed the Horizon games, which I didn't think I was going to like, but I do like them. Even though I haven't played 3 or 4, I played 1 and 2 quite a bit.
Can you explain to us the difference?
Okay, so Forza is the racing one, they're both racing games in theory, but one is more arcade style. So the Horizon series is done not by Turn 10; it's done by a different group. I forget the name of the developer for those actually.
Playground?
But is it Playground?
I think it is. I think does Horizon. I don't know. Continue.
Yeah. So I got hooked on the original Forza because it was the Microsoft equivalent of Gran Turismo. Which I was big into on the PlayStation because it was sim racing. Yet I never had the pedals and the steering wheel, which a lot of my friends have. So don't know why I really ever liked it, but I actually was at the point where I was importing the Japanese versions of Gran Turismo so I could have the game sooner.
Nice.
Yeah. So when Forza came out, I didn't like the original one. The physics were off a little bit, but the second game, it drove more normal. The physics seemed to be more accurate. Got hooked on that one, played 3 quite a bit, played 4 quite a bit, and then 5 came out, and it's gorgeous, but I didn't like the career progression in it. It was kind of goofy compared to the other games, where they had series, and it's just the menu is bad. The game is good, but the menu is terrible. But then I started playing the Horizon games, and the Horizon games are kind of, I wouldn't really call them like Ridge Racer or anything like that, but they're more like Project Gotham Racing, more arcadey style, where you get points for drifts, and I mean it would be kind of an equivalent to the Need for Speed series, but not quite because there's no police chases or anything like that.
Right.
But very entertaining. The races, they're still races, but they're fun. Kind of no holds barred racing where you can jump over things and crash through things and go off road, and it doesn't matter. You don't get penalized for it like you do in the regular Forza series. So, but that would be probably one of my more favorite exclusive series that's been on the system. Halo used to be, but once 4 came out, it wasn't the same game, so I kind of fell off of that. And Gears, I played 1, and I played 2, and 3 just didn't do it for me. And 4, I loaded it up, and I was like, what is this? Nope. The one I don't understand for exclusives that people like is State of Decay. I don't get it. I don't understand why people like that game. So
I've been meaning to try, but I haven't jumped in yet. Just one reason.
yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah, Freem is a big State of Decay proponent, and I
yes.
don't understand. I don't. Sorry, bud. I don't get why you like it.
I didn't really get the first one, but the second one came out. And actually, I won it, but it came out on Game Pass day one, and I was into it for like, I don't know, 6 to 9 hours probably. It was okay, but it's just a management game, really.
That's how I know I like it. It's like Left 4 Dead meets a management game, so that sounds up my alley. Just for what, like I said, for whatever reason, have not tried it yet. But before we continue, real quick, have you guys seen the Forza Horizon? What's the newest one? 4 now. The
4.
bundle.
Yep.
No, I did not see the bundle.
Okay, so if you get the special edition, I forget what actually it's called, but it's basically $100. You get Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizon 4, and this is physical only, it's not digital, and 12 months of Game Pass. So for basically for the price of 10 months of Game Pass, you get 12 months plus 2 games. So if you're interested in the Forza Horizon 4 and you like physical, probably should go that route. It's a good deal. I'm considering it, and I don't even play the Forza games. Just, save $20 in the long run.
Does it include the DLC for 3?
I
Because 3's got quite a bit of DLC.
I don't know about the DLC portion.
Probably not.
I hate to correct you, Kenny.
No, you don't.
No,
I love to correct you,
There you go.
but I believe you get Forza Horizon 3 and Forza Motorsport 7 with that deal.
That's correct.
Oh, is it?
You don't get the new Forza 4.
You get to play 4 via Game Pass, but you get to keep Horizon 3
Yes.
and Motorsport 7.
Oh, okay. I miss it. Well,
It's a
either
good
way,
deal
it's still a good
regardless,
It's
because
still a
I
great
mean,
deal.
you can play both of them on Game Pass, I think.
And if it,
But I mean,
Yeah.
you could sell.
if you look
sell
at it as
those.
two $60 games and $120 of Game Pass, then
For
$100
$100.
is a good deal.
Well, even if you look at it at just the Game Pass, it's still a deal.
Yeah. That's really good. And by all accounts, Forza 7, it was fantastic. Like I said,
It's very good.
I'm not a racing game fan. I can't personally attest to it, but everything I've heard, I know it's scored high.
I actually found it funny that a month ago when we had Carnage on, there was a question about which exclusive we'd all swap out, and all of us picked Forza, but because Mango wasn't on that episode, so it is funny.
Oh yeah, and
funny to
and
have.
I understand why people don't like it. It's a sim racer. It's a very niche game. It really is.
I prefer kart racers.
Yeah, a lot of people prefer kart races or arcade racers, which is why Forza, the Horizon series, seems to be more widely accepted.
Crash Team Racing is better than Mario Kart. But anyways, what's your favorite Xbox exclusive games or the game series?
You're such a troll, Kenny.
Me? No.
Yeah, I know, right?
You can debate me in our Discord channel, where we like to talk Final Fantasy and how Final Fantasy VII is the best.
Absolutely, right. Well, besides the obvious of Halo and Gears, I love them both. Titanfall 1 was only on Xbox. I believe PlayStation wound up getting Titanfall 2.
It was on
But I
Windows
found that very interesting.
too.
Windows 2?
Windows as well.
I had Windows 3.1.
TOO.
Windows and Xbox might as well be the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Non-Sony.
Exactly.
One interesting one I'm going to mention is Rare Replay, which was very cool when it came out. It was 30 games for $30, and it started the first wave of backwards compatible games by including around 8 Xbox 360 games. So I think that was a very cool exclusive that Xbox got.
Yes.
Super Lucky's Tale is a recent one. And Killer Instinct, which has been going strong for 5 years now, I think.
Is it still going strong?
I'm sure it is.
I don't think I've heard about it
Didn't
in a year.
I'm sure if you went on there, you'd find randoms that would kill you.
I could probably.
I thought they added DLC in the last year.
I think it's still going strong.
Yeah, it's still going strong. There hasn't been another season yet, but it's still going
Little
strong.
polarizing game, but Sunset Overdrive I thought was very fun.
That game was great.
You go around and just do crazy things, and the humor is right up my alley. It's all kind of crazy toilet-y humor and puns and pop culture references, so I really enjoy
Fourth
Sunset
wall
Overdrive.
breaks.
I have not played Quantum Break, but I've heard that one's pretty good. And Ori and the Blind Forest was an Xbox exclusive. It's a very renowned game that most people seem to enjoy also, so that was a good one.
It was a Windows exclusive.
Corey?
Ori is one of those games where Ori kind of makes me think of Psychonauts, where it's one of those games where it's very well received and well reviewed, but not a lot of people play it, or not enough people.
Yes. A cult classic, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear nothing but good things about it. I haven't picked it up since it's a platformer, and I kind of got to be in the mood. I'm not a big platformer.
It's a Metrovania.
Yeah, it's Metrovania.
It's a Metrovania with platforming elements.
Ah, okay.
And
Sorry.
Cuphead is another recent Xbox One exclusive. It's very beautiful and very hard.
One of the most gorgeous looking games. I'll admit, before doing this, I actually forgot that Killer Instinct and Rare Replay were Xbox exclusives.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, Rare is on the Xbox bandwagon, I guess.
I'm pretty sure Microsoft owns Rare now.
Right.
Well, after Sea of Thieves, I would imagine they are, which no one's mentioned.
It's rare that anyone likes that game.
What about Rise? We haven't mentioned that one
Rise
either.
was a great game.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people said the combat was very repetitive, but every time I did the killing moves on that game, it put a smile on my face, made me laugh.
The combat in that game is very repetitive, but every time I did the killing moves, it put a smile on my face. Oh my god, it's so
The
good.
combat moves in any game gets repetitive after a while.
Actually, I helped Corey out with an achievement in that game for UHH a couple of weeks ago, and it was fun getting back to it. I still think it looks gorgeous for a 2013 launch title. And
I feel like Rise
a lot
is
of
one
fun.
of those games that kind of just flies under a radar. No one really talks about, but everyone that's played it loves it.
Yeah, I got to work on the online multiplayer. Well, you don't have to. You can do it all single player, but the leveling up to level 250 or whatever it is, I got to do that.
I'm surprised we never got a sequel. I wonder how well it sold.
I don't know if someone would like to look that up.
Let us know.
But going back to Sea of Thieves real quick, I guess I'll be that one person in the room. I actually really enjoyed that game. I mean, obviously the biggest problem of it is, going from one place to the other. There was just nothing to do on the boat. But when you actually find the interactions between you and another ship, so fun. Lots of fun doing the battles. I even enjoyed looking for treasure. Although there is no way I will ever become a pirate legend. I like the game, not that much. But Rocker, what's your favorite?
Well, you've pretty much mentioned the entire catalog of Xbox exclusives. I would have to say favorite is Sunset Overdrive. Pre-ordered that,
Nice.
bought it day one. I've almost completed it. Mostly what's left is Chaos Squad, which is the multiplayer. We got together one day, there's like 8 of us, to help somebody out, and that was a lot of fun, and we didn't finish it. So we should get back to that someday.
We should.
Yeah, you guys have mentioned everything else that
I mean, what's your favorite?
Dead Rising 3 is on that list.
I
didn't say that one. I saved you that one.
I don't play Dead Rising games, buddy.
Really?
You afraid of blood?
No, they just seem boring and slow.
Oh.
So yeah, if we go down the list, Halo, Halo, Gears, Quantum Break was good. Actually completed that one. Out of all of the Microsoft exclusive games, that's probably the easiest completion. It has a hard mode and an achievement related to hard mode, but go figure, it's not hard. There's collectibles, but each level does a really good job of telling you exactly how many you grabbed and There are excellent walkthroughs out there. Text walkthroughs, picture walkthroughs, video walkthroughs to suit your soul for however you like to go about collecting things in video games. But that was an enjoyable game. Forza is Forza. I don't play Motorsport. Horizon's good, but I didn't get on that bandwagon until 3. Cuphead is good, but I still haven't beat it. Rise is good, like we said. State of Decay is itself. Killer Instinct is a fighting game that's super repetitive. And yeah, a bunch of repeats on there. I am looking.
Ultra Combo.
You found it, everybody! Yay! Did anybody say Crackdown 3?
Oh, we'd be remiss if we did not mention everyone's favorite vaporware.
Because I've enjoyed the Crackdown games. I haven't played them to completion or anything like that, but I am looking forward to number 3 that comes out. That is coming out in February. It's really happening. But,
Microsoft
Right.
promises us.
Sure it
something.
is.
And then I enjoyed Ori. It's a pretty difficult game. So I'm looking forward to Will of the Wisps. And hopefully that comes out next year as well.
Hi,
I got a
Saucy,
sales
I
number
love
for Rise,
you.
Son of Rome, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Hit me with it.
How'd it do?
Rise sold 1.28 million copies worldwide.
Okay. Is that good or
Wow.
bad? I'm going to say it's
I
bad.
think that's good.
Well, to compare it to Halo 5 Guardians, which sold 3.14 sales.
I don't think you can compare
Or
that
3.14
to
million sales.
Halo. That seems unfair.
Or, let's see here, what else we got? Forza Horizon 2 recorded 1.21 million sales. So,
How much you say Rise was? 1.4?
1.28 million, and this is as of 2016.
1.28 for Rise isn't. I wouldn't say that's too terrible. Obviously, that's
No.
not the biggest. Being an Xbox exclusive, granted, Xbox One for the longest time has been behind, and it's a launch title. I mean, when did Xbox One come out? 2013. So yeah, I mean,
Correct.
yeah. So I mean, that game's 5 years now. Obviously, that's not the best sales numbers, but considering that's a launch title, that doesn't seem too terrible. And being a new game, it's not like a Halo where it's this long-running series. Obviously, anything Halo is going to sell crazy amounts because everybody's going to buy it. But yeah, that obviously not the best, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, so, yeah, and we haven't seen a sequel yet because of Crytek basically going out of business, but yet they still own the rights to Rise. Well,
Aw.
not out of business, but a restructuring.
Well, we need a grandson of Rome soon.
Dun-dun.
Go get some Son of Rome.
All right, but yeah. For myself, obviously, I think everyone knows my favorite Xbox exclusive and Xbox exclusive series, which is Halo, and obviously, Halo Wars falls under that category.
It does? Oh, yeah, it does.
Sure.
Okay, fine. Halo, Halo Wars, Forza Horizon. But yeah, Halo's the best series. Exclusive series, anyway, in my opinion.
I'll give you that.
But yeah. And that's the other thing. Like, we've just named off a ton of games here. This whole thing, Xbox doesn't have games. That's kind of a lie. It did at first. Like I mentioned a moment ago, Xbox One was definitely behind PlayStation for the longest time. It's not as bad as it is now. The race is a lot closer. PlayStation's still ahead. I'll give them that. I'm not, that much of a fanboy that I'm going to say the one is ahead.
They're ahead by a lot, to be honest.
See, I don't think so. I think it's really catching up. We've got a good good list of games here, and there's quality here. The only difference is when you look at a lot of these games, multiplayer. It's it's a lot of multiplayer games or games that are good for multiplayer. The Forza series, great for multiplayer. Halo, Gears, Sunset, Killer Instinct, Sea of Thieves is all multiplayer. Titanfall, they're all really good multiplayer games. Whereas, like PlayStation, the biggest competitor, obviously, a lot of their exclusives are single player. I mean, God of War, big single player game. Spider-Man, big single player game. What's the Last of Us, big single player game. I think it's just dependent upon which one you go through. What do you guys think?
So, I mean, Sony, the PlayStation, they have obviously a lot more exclusives. Their general exclusives that they are used to making, that I know of, they usually don't appeal to me. I don't care for the anime stuff. I don't care for the, I don't know what you'd even call it.
JRPGs.
There you go. I don't care for those type of games. Really, the only ones that I can think of are the big ones this year that have come out that I would probably play. Even God of War doesn't intrigue me that much.
Same.
That and like the last.
If God of War had achievements, though, it would.
Oh, for sure. But only because of how much talk it's getting does it. Would I even try it? Spider-Man's been the first one in a long time that I just really want a PlayStation 4. So Xbox lacks in variety and sometimes in quality. I tend to like their exclusives when I play them, but overall they don't get the best scores.
There's one other PS4 exclusive that's pretty cool. If you're a baseball fan, their MLB The Show.
I will give you that. That is a big exclusive.
That blows like RBI baseball out of the water.
Without a doubt, I'll give you that. I forgot about that. I'm not a sports fan or sports game fan, so yeah. I will also.
I didn't know we considered RBI baseball as competition. I didn't think it was even remotely in the same league.
That's all we got.
Competition.
That's all we got.
That's all we got because 2K doesn't do them anymore.
None of them were backyard baseball.
That was fun.
I will also say the other thing that PlayStation does have over Xbox, which sucks most of the time, is they have a lot of marketing deals. If you play them, Destiny 1 and 2, they get their DLC first. Crash has been out on PlayStation for like a year now before it came to Xbox or somewhere close to that. Shoot, I just had another game that I forgot about. They get like the marketing deals. But I mean, and then all the big games, they come to both consoles. You like Assassin's Creed, it's on both consoles. You like Call of Duty, it's on both. It's on Red Dead, it's on both. Plus, the Xbox is the most powerful console, at least for now. Obviously, PlayStation 5 will probably trump it, and it'll go back and forth. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think Xbox is that far behind, especially now that we have Game Pass, which is an incredible service. What do you think, Mango? You think I'm all?
I played. No, I'm not even saying I'm a fanboy, but I'm so hooked on the metagame of achievements that, I mean, sure, there are other games available on other systems that I like, but and I'll get them. Like I purposely went and bought all the God of War games, so I have them. But I as soon as I sit down and play games, it's like, I'll just play the Xbox because there's some achievements I can get instead. So, I'll play garbage on the Xbox before I play a good game. It's sad but true.
That's why he bought a Switch for his 7th Minecraft stack.
Yeah, exactly. But because there's achievements.
I guess it's me. I'm a little bit. Well, I'm not a little bit. I'm way more casual when it comes to you guys. I'd much rather play a good game over, Neo Geo.
Breaking news. This just in. Reporting. Sim broke 900,000 gamer score. When he gets to 1 million, he might even make it to proclamation point. Until then, thanks for listening, Sim.
Yeah, you hit like 100,000 like a month ago. What are you up to? 100,500?
Don't give him that much credit.
But, El, any thoughts?
Yes, I would like to go to bed, so I have no more thoughts. I have thoughts of sandwiches. I don't count sheep when I'm going to bed. I count sandwiches. So I think I'm ready.
Sandwich. All right. Then I guess that'll about do it for the show tonight. Unless anybody has anything else to add, like a random review this time. Corey?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay. Well, in that case, if you want to find us, you can always reach out to us at any of our gamer tags. You know, we're on TA, Discord, Xbox, yada yada, Twitter, whatever. We're everywhere. And obviously, you can follow the show on Twitter at Achievements101. And be sure to join the Discord. You really should join the Discord. Great conversations. We've been talking Final Fantasy all this week. Missing out by not being there. Discord link is discord.io/AH101. All right, guys. Talk to you later. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
September is a busy month with all kinds of causes vying for your attention. At a very sequential segment headquarters, we noticed that it was National Atrial Fibrillation? Help me out,
Fibrillation.
Thank you. Awareness Month. But we couldn't talk about that. Our heart just wasn't in it. We also we had talked about doing a list in recognition of it being World Alzheimer's Month, but we forgot what it was.
Did we talk about that?
I don't know.
Huh.
Oh, ultimately, we wanted to make a list that we could sink our teeth in. Something we could take a bite out of over and over and over, even when we're not hungry. And thus, we decided to celebrate National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month with our
Top 5 Childhood Obesity Achievements. Bring it home, Elroy.
These are the achievements that would be terrible for the little porkers to consume. Or these achievements may highlight other individuals that may have beaten childhood obesity by graduating to adult obesity. Whatever the case, these Chivos are not part of a balanced gaming diet. They have very little gamerscore nutritional value, but they sure are tasty. So sit back and enjoy. You do not have to wait any longer. We hope you enjoy our picks. But if we do a poor job with our selection, let us know. Whatever the case, remain calm. But first, before I drop another 10 food puns, it's time for some pleasantries. She is the 115th place gamer in the world in health and fitness games and number 2 in the state of New York of America. She is Matriarch.
All right, that number's a little misleading, but cool. I'll take it. It makes me sound far more healthy and fit and all that than I am, but I guess we'll discuss that more in a moment. Allow me to introduce you with another probably misleading number. Here with me today is the 3,823rd ranked gamer by Gamerscore in Kinect-enabled games, Elroy OMJ.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I just can't do it. I mean, it's just so difficult to work out in front of a camera and such. I mean, I just can't do it.
I figured you'd like it because you kind of get to see yourself, or maybe it's like you don't get to see like yourself well enough because it's kind of poor quality. Especially back in
I'm
the
all
360.
pixelated and everything.
Yeah, you can't really see like your muscle definition when you're flexing your gains.
Indeed. But you did hit on an important part. I think on the outset of this list about childhood obesity, we should probably explain our credentials. So. What did you bring to the childhood obesity list? How do you gauge your level of health?
I get the feeling that we're going to be on opposite ends of the spectrum, which is why we are perfectly placed to provide this list this week. So I'm one of those folks that didn't just graduate from childhood obesity to adult obesity. I have my doctorate in it. And it's all fine. I'm actually generally pretty healthy. I could still do most things other than the knees and the ankles being creaky. But thank goodness, knock on wood or something close to it or whatever's nearby. No, everything's good. I'm in a pretty good place. So, Elroy, I know you actually have some pretty well-defined not just muscles, but ideas on health and fitness and diet plans. So in less amount of time than it took for your part of the review raid, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, let me say something.
Please do.
I've been waiting for this question for like months now. Well, it took us so long to do this list. But, yeah.
September only rolls around once a year.
Yes. Oh, man, I can't wait to revisit this topic next childhood obesity, a month. But now, on the onset of this, let me just say that there's really no good way for me to talk about this without me sounding like a giant D-bag. So I'm just going to just jump right in and embrace the D-bagginess, and I'm just going to just go right into it. So it may be obnoxious and hashtag gains. But anyway, I consider myself to be pretty much the picture of health. I work out every day. It's part of my routine. I work out, I Chivo hunt, and my gamer score gets bigger, and my muscles get stronger. So it is the two things that I do basically every day besides the stuff that everyone does, eat, sleep, and all that good stuff. So I think I've thought long and hard how to answer this question. So I've come to the conclusion that I'm either delusional or I'm way outside the average. I'm not really sure. So a few years ago, I was applying for Ninja Warrior because I wanted to get on the show. And then I broke my foot, unfortunately, playing soccer. Indoor soccer got me. And so I thought it was going to be very difficult to make myself look like a badass in a video with a broken foot and with a boot on my foot. So I didn't do it. And at that point, I was kind of in my peak health, and I just never got around to doing it. And alas, this was a few years ago, and now I am officially too old. So
wait. I'm sorry to interrupt you because I know once you're going, but I got to hold you for a second. There's like an upper age limit on American Ninja Warrior?
Honestly, I don't ever really watch the show because it makes me mad because I never got on it and I never applied to it again. So I've watched just a few episodes, and it seems like they're all in their lower 30s and upper 20s. And
yeah, but there are also people who compete in like T-Rex costumes.
That's true. I could probably go on in my Mega Man costume. And
that would be amazing.
Well, the blaster arm would be very difficult to navigate.
But you'd be YouTube famous. It's totally worth it. But anyway,
so I go to grab the bar, and my phaser just doesn't grab it, and I just fall in the water. But
then you have that power up that lets you shoot platforms, and you just jump on by.
Oh,
and you'll be
that's
good
true.
To go.
Yeah, I would enjoy that. But it's like I wish they had courses around here so I could see if I'm delusional or not. Like I know out in the West Coast with good old Tom S. He he probably has these little things, obstacle courses set up everywhere where you could probably do this. But out here in Tennessee, we don't really have a ninja training course, so I'll never know if I could have excelled in it or not. But I just watch the show and shake my head because the ones I've seen, I'm like, I could do that. That's easy. And the reason is because a lot of the stuff is just body weight exercises, and that's where I excel. Like, I'm not a power lifter. I don't walk around saying, yeah, man, yeah, bro, I can bench, this month. I don't have those numbers. I mean, I know I can bench well over my body weight, but I don't bench every day. It's not a measure I care about. So
I could probably bench a Twinkie. Just get it up there.
Yeah, there you go. But I'm more of the exercise I'm most proud of is I'm a beast on pull-ups. That's my exercise of choice. I realize that in life you only are going to have to do one pull-up, like at worst case scenario, like let's say you fall off a cliff and you're holding on to a tree. I mean, you only got to do one pull-up in life to survive. You're not going to, go down and knock out some more reps, but it's still fun to know how many that you can do. So I used to be able to do about 40 nonstop.
Wow.
But yeah, Father Time caught up with me, so I'm usually around 35 now, and I understand that probably makes everyone's eyes roll, given that that's probably more pull-ups than most people can do in a lifetime. But first bro problems. Yeah. But I do have a pull-up bar in my room at the school, and so I have a pull-up club. I have students doing pull-ups like all day, and on a slow day, when I don't have a whole lot planned for lessons, I'll knock out about 400 to 500 pull-ups in between teaching and checking on my students, so that I'll have more time when I get home. I don't have to work out, and I get more time on the Xbox. And yeah, and then, you healthy eating. I eat meat, veggies, nuts, and non-processed foods, basically. Those are basically the 4 things. Fruit, that's kind of a dessert. And on that diet, eat about 60 to 80 carbs a day. And yeah, I'm that guy. So just remember, abs are made in the kitchen. But I will close in saying that, as the joke goes, I'm going to look really silly, like laying in a hospital someday dying of nothing. Because, it's just, I don't know. But, one more thing. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Y'all can scrub to the end. I'm sorry. But I'm so upset today. Like,
Why?
literally looked today, and I missed the Tough Mudder. Like, the Tough Mudder in Tennessee. There's only one.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
we only get one. And so I swore it was in October. And I looked today because I was like, oh yeah, I should probably mention the Tough Mudder when I'm talking. And then I was like, oh, when is that? It's like second week in October. No, it was last weekend. And so I have to wait till next year to roll it back around.
Oh, man.
And I enjoy those every year. I heard someone describe those as basically the new midlife crisis for 40-year-olds. It's kind of like you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go do a Tough Mudder, and I'm young or something. I don't know, but I just enjoy them because they actually allow me to show off the stuff that I work so hard on all year long.
No.
And these are right down my alley. It's cardio, and then you do obstacles where you're just holding your body weight up and you're doing all these obstacles and stuff. So here's some pro tips for you. I got Tough Mudder pro tips right here. So
Okay.
First thing you do, always schedule Sunday. Saturday's too busy. Don't do it. Unless you can get the first wave. That first wave, you want to do that on Saturday or Sunday. Because the biggest obstacle in these obstacle courses is not the obstacles. The obstacles are the freaking people, the horde. It's like one of those zombie defense games. Like, there's just people everywhere. And so, like, if you get in a second wave, you got to get in front of all these first wave people because they're going to just make these huge lines at the obstacles. So for what I do, I schedule the first wave. If it's Saturday or Sunday, I prefer Sunday because it's less people, and I'm antisocial. And so
clearly.
So I do the first wave. I go by myself. I don't have any team or anything, even though these things emphasize teamwork. I'm not there to make friends. I'm there to do the obstacles. And I kind of act like I'm looking for someone because who the hell goes and does these things by themselves? And so I act like I'm looking for someone because I usually show up a little late, and then I like meander my way to the front of the line, kind of looking for people, and then I just kind of start stretching, and no one's ever said anything to me, and so I get to like the front of the line, and then when they say go, the flames go up, and you just take off. You haul ass out of that, and then you'll get to the front of the line. You get to the obstacles first, and then you don't have to worry about all these people. And so what I do is I do the obstacles. I do them over and over. I finish the obstacle, and I go back and I redo it. And then I wait until, I start seeing people coming in the distance. And I'm like, okay, I better stay ahead of them. And so it's like I'm running from a zombie horde almost because I don't want to have to wait in line on these obstacles. Because sometimes you'll wait like 45 minutes for an obstacle, and it's ridiculous. So I don't know. Anyway, there's your pro tips. I'm done talking about my health.
Excellent. Well, that's a lot to digest. We'll timestamp that at 12 minutes and 36 seconds on the recording.
Oops.
That's all right. It wouldn't be the worst we've done. So, yeah, that was exciting.
You're the expert in segueing from my rant.
tried.
So what you got?
What I've got is we were going to talk a little bit about feedback, but we have to pull back the curtain here a little bit. Elroy and I both wrote our takes on this a little while ago. And we've been kind of sitting on this because I went away for a couple days, and then I was sick, and all this other stuff happened. So,
clarification: I didn't sit on it; I stood.
That's true. I would not accuse you of
hashtag gains.
I would not accuse you of sitting at all ever. You don't sit; you just do pull-ups until it's time to move to the next thing. So, we didn't get a whole lot in the way of feedback, but We do want to point out how awesome it was to have Exe the Hero on the last time we recorded, and people did love having Exe the Hero on, and he was great. So hopefully, possibly, definitely, we will have him on in the future.
If I have to drive up to Pennsylvania myself, we're getting him back.
All right, he will definitely be around, and so yeah, that's pretty much where we stand. So are we ready to tackle childhood obesity? Our child, how are we calling this? The Childhood Obesity Awareness Month list. It's basically a list about food, right?
Yeah, you're supposed to say it more happy because we're celebrating. Or
we're celebrating.
We're raising awareness.
We're raising awareness. Okay. Yeah. All right. So here we are. Mm-hmm. I'm going to kick off with the honorable mention.
Honorable mention.
All right. Let me start this one with a small disclaimer. I'm apparently really awful at pronouncing Italian foods correctly. I don't know.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, usually I try to throw on my best fake accent, and I just miss the mark completely. And I say things, Americanly. So I apologize.
I never do that.
No, not at all. So I apologize in advance if my pronunciations of foods like mozzarella and ricotta bother you, but that's how I say these things. And the reason why this is important is because if the way I say these Italian foods offends your eardrums, you ought to be aware that I'm going to continue to do so by highlighting the gnocchi, I believe that's how it's pronounced, or possibly gnocchi, Thursday achievement in Nero.
I would have gone with nachi.
Nachi.
Kind of like bocce ball.
Oh. I think anytime you see a double C, it's supposed to be a k sound. Somebody told me that rule at some point, so I'm going to go with it. And we're going to call it gnocchi. And gnocchi's like little round pasta that's quite tasty. You've probably never eaten it because one of these little gnocchi has the 60 or 80 carb that you would eat in a day.
I was starting to recoil from the microphone here.
But in Nero, which stands for Nothing Ever Remains Obscure, you are tasked to get this achievement called Gnocchi Thursday. So as a game itself, it is pretty straightforward. There are some puzzles you have to solve throughout, but there's really nothing particularly trying. There are also collectibles in the game that obviously require collecting, but there's a chapter select, so really nothing that you have to do in the game is too difficult. It's also a 3 to 4 hour completion, so it's a pretty solid game to get if you're into the gamerscore thing. Now, as always, Elroy, any experience with Nero?
Oh man, this game! I tell you what, I missed. I did like a crappy walkthrough on this game, and somewhere I missed. There's collectibles galore in this game, and I missed one somewhere along the line, and I could not figure out for the life of me where this thing is. So I had to play this game basically twice all the way through, and finally got it finished and put to bed, and it was maddening. But this one that you're talking about here, this one was I think it was the last one I got, but
it was for me too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's
there you go.
Oh yeah, my apologies for stepping over you. It's all these carbs I've eaten. I've got to work them off.
Ditch those breads. Carbs are the enemy.
But everything about Nero is your pretty standard ID at Xbox sub 3 hour completion if you have a good walkthrough. That is until you've completed everything else and somehow realize you've missed out on Gnocchi Thursday. Now, the game as a whole is honestly a little depressing, so I'm not going to touch on that too much because I don't want to spoil it in case someone hasn't played it yet.
Why are you bringing up a depressing game when we're celebrating childhood obesity?
Well, I'm not going into detail, but I have to be forthcoming with all of my information. And if somebody wants to celebrate childhood obesity by playing a depressing game, they ought to know that before going in. It's all part of the tale. So if you're going to slog through walking through Nero, and I really do mean that because you walk very, very slowly, even when you are allegedly running, I wouldn't want to ruin this story, which I think is one of the game's strength. But I will tell you, like Elroy showering us with puns, this achievement does come a little out of nowhere. Being sad or fighting being sad, it can take a lot out of you, so it is important to stop and eat. Just like David, our main character in Nero, does. And in Chapter 3, he comes across a cafeteria, and if you take a second to look closely, there's a menu posted with the day's eats. And on Thursday, guess what food it is that is available to eat in the cafeteria?
It's a noche.
Perfect. Now, of course, we're not recommending that you carbo load too much. That would be bad, and Elroy might have an aneurysm on the air. But we might recommend you load your save offline if you need to get this one done. The achievement requires you to log in at one of 3 very specific sets of times, which represent breakfast, lunch, and dinner, since Gnocchi is apparently an anytime food, which is exciting. Problem is, those times aren't local to your time, and exactly what time they are isn't really clear. Like, at least so far as my research went, the developer didn't say this was set at UK time or at West Coast time or whatever it is. So the times that you can eat your Gnocchi are 7:30 to 10:30 a.m., whatever standard time, 12:30 to 2:30 p.m., or 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Anyway, just boot up your game during these times, or you can do this offline. And under the menu in the cafeteria, there'll be a little bowl of gnocchi for you to enjoy. Just don't overdo it with your emotional eating.
That makes so much more sense to me now, man. That achievement made me angry. I kept logging on. I had no idea that. I thought it was standard to whatever your time was. I didn't realize there was issues with the time, and so I'd be like, "Where is this? This bowl of food?" I look all around that depressing cafeteria and nothing, and I swear, yeah, okay. Well, that makes
and
more
you'll
sense.
definitely know if you're playing through the game. You'll definitely know if the gnocchi's there because it's a bright red color compared to everything else in the game, which is in a blue hue. So if you log in at one of those times and it's not there, just try back an hour later or try back 2 hours later, whatever it is. Or you can do the offline trick where there is a solution for that on True Achievements that you can check out for how to do that.
All right. Well, I wish I had known that. All right. Well, number 5.
Get 60 minutes of exercise every day.
This one comes from Dark Dreams Don't Die. Also, as the cool kids say, D4. So, the achievement is Meal of the Day, worth 5 gamer score. So this achievement can be gained simply by triggering a cutscene in which you eat. It features a former childhood obesity superstar known as Forrest Kazan. Now, I haven't made it too terribly far into the game, but the universe is trying to drop me a hint, given that it was basically on every week I had. Like, I think it was on the first 2 or 3 weeks that I had of the and finally got one out of it. It was on the first 3. I got 1 out of 3, but I did last long enough in this game to witness Forrest's credentials to our wonderful childhood obesity list. So once you've finished moping around, which I guess is what the game's all about, is moping around your apartment, while you're there, I want to say you're attacked, but I'm not really sure if that's the right word. I'm not 100% if it was something sexual or so it was like one stop short of a furries Castaway Island paradise type thing. Whatever it was, you're like standing there, and then a scantily clad woman who thinks she's a cat bursts through your door and scratches you up while spitting a dead rat into your mouth. So, you with me so far?
I've played the game, so
okay. So this is normal to you.
Very familiar
all right.
with all of this. One thing, as an aside for all this, it's I don't mean this in any rude way, but it's Japanese, and the storytelling is sometimes very hard to follow because of that. I think. I don't think that she might be a representation, like she's a physical character, but she might be a representation of some psychological construct as well.
So is there as many furries in Japan as Europe?
We could do a survey.
Yeah, we'll run the numbers. We'll get back to you on that.
We'll get back to that.
So, all right. So, like I said, I haven't made it that far into the game. All I know is some woman comes through the door and it's kind of gross. She's spitting dead rats in your mouth and she's attacking you, but it's sensual. But yeah, it's at that point that Forrest makes an appearance, and after you talk to him, it enters one of my favorite cutscenes I have seen all year, in which you eat a meal with these 2 weirdos. Now, not that the main character is the poster boy for normal, but yeah, it's a very wonderful collection of weird. So the sequence opens at the dinner table, where Forrest has cooked up a massive pot of clam chowder, which and he apparently ordered a couple of pizzas because there's pizza boxes sitting there, and they made a nice large bowl of salad. Looked really good, but Forrest finishes his first large bowl of chowder, and as he holds the bowl to his pie hole and finishes like shoveling the contents therein into his said mouth, he immediately goes back for seconds. The process repeats, to which Forrest then goes back for thirds and basically what remains in the pot, leading us to believe that we joined them mid-meal given like the lack of chowder that was remaining in the pot. I don't know how much he made, but it was a big pot. And you combine that with the high watermark of the residue of the clam chowder on the inside wall of the pot. See? Who's the detective now, huh? Yeah. But we don't know how many bowls of clam chowder Forrest destroyed, but the oddness of the scene is increased first by the odd cat lady that like sits somewhat like a cat and picks odds and ends out of a food bowl that is like a cat's food bowl, and nobody ever addresses her. Second, David, the main character, he just sits there and does like a Close Encounters of the Third Kind type of impersonation as he cracks crackers over and over his teacup of chowder until he's built this little mountain in his teacup. And once the chowder has been consumed, guess what? They move on to the pizza that was ordered, I assume. And David actually takes a bite of it before he throws it off to the side, perhaps playing fetch with his cat lady. But the way he is illustrated, he looks comically angry the entire time he's eating. It's like Jules Winfield has nothing on him as he bites into the big kahuna burger. So that is a tasty burger. But Forrest, on the other hand, does more than just sample the pizza. He takes not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 pieces of pizza, stacks them on top of each other, and then eats them all in about 4 bites. I have never seen this done. But I sat there in horror and in equal amounts of amazement as it all transpired in front of me, and it couldn't help but make me think of a previous time in my life, actually even up to the current. There might be someone in my family that eats with about as much table manners as this gentleman, and I might have grew up with him. By the way, I have one brother. Now, the entire time, by the way, Forrest is carrying on a very spirited, it's a very spirited conversation about chowder. It's truly amazing that the old boy he didn't choke to death. It also amazes me that the nutritional aspect of this meal. The pizza alone, with the average slice of pizza containing approximately 40 carbs, means that he skyrocketed past 200 carbs in this cutscene. That is not even taking into account the stats on the chowder which he ate, which would vary depending on how it was fixed, but generally speaking, it was a lot of everything. So you add in the salad's nutritional facts. Oh, wait, you don't have to do that. It remains untouched on the table the entire sequence. So whatever the totals may be in this relatively brief cutscene, netting you the Meal of the Day achievement, Forrest safely consumes as many carbs as I consume in a full week. He is an impressive figure for round children everywhere to look up to. I know if I were to consume that many carbs, it would give me the runs, Forrest. The runs.
Oh, man. Yeah, and doesn't he spend the entire scene also, like, coaching the main character, like, you need to eat more. You need to eat. Like,
the whole scene is just bizarre.
Yeah.
I love that scene. You gotta look it up if you haven't played it. It's worth a look.
The whole game is pretty bizarre. And as an aside, it's not as difficult as the ratio might suggest if you are interested in playing it at all. There's a really great walkthrough on True Achievements, and it's definitely a game that is worth discussing if you know anyone else who's actually gotten through it.
Yeah, Waka suggested it for me. That's the only reason I played it, and I just lost interest and thought, well, if I have to play this for I'll play it, and then it came up on and I didn't play it. So, yeah.
But we celebrated childhood obesity with
there you go.
Meal of the Day. Number 4 this week.
Number 4
is well, let me start this way. Now, Elroy, do you know what a superfood is?
But I like milkshakes. Protein shake!
Hey, I know a lot of superfoods.
Okay.
Yeah. Every day I'm brustling.
All right, great. So examples we'll probably get to in a couple minutes. But before I started to research my next achievement, I decided, let me look up what a superfood is, because the achievement is titled, It Really Is a Superfood, and you can find it in Sesame Street Once Upon a Monster. The really, I don't know, it's one of my favorite Connect games because it wasn't too big on the exercising stuff, but still made you dance and move, and it tracked okay, and it was fun to play with smaller kids. It was good all around. Did you play that one at all?
Is that the same one where you have fun with Elmo at the beach?
No, that's Connect Sesame Street TV.
Is this the bonus disc that Exprovo's got with his?
No, that's
Now, guys, quit emailing and quit texting and quit sending instant messages to Exprovos about his ability in Sesame Street. He got the achievement. Just stop sending them. Okay, sorry.
Right, and confusingly, that's Connect Sesame Street TV DVD. So, a whole different list. But this is Sesame Street Once Upon a Monster, a game that was developed by Double Fine, specifically to create a new character, but it uses Elmo and Cookie Monster, and it's a cute little game. If you still have access to a Kinect and haven't played it for whatever reason, I would totally go for it. But in researching this, I was trying to figure out, what exactly is a superfood? Because I have my impression of what it is. Mm-hmm. But what do I know, right? Because clearly I can't write a thesis on health the way that Elroy can. So interestingly, I got two different results when I sent my research goblins to Google. On one hand, I got the dictionary definition, which is as follows. Quote, a nutrient-rich food considered to be especially beneficial for health and well-being. And this more or less matches what I thought. You hear about negative calorie foods. It's a good food. Okay, cool.
Wait. We forgot to properly introduce this.
What?
This is the educational portion of the show.
Oh, right. Yes. So I'm going to wrap it up quick too.
Sorry.
But
okay.
Yes, it is the educational portion. But what's interesting to me is on, when you search on Google and there's that left-hand panel or right-hand panel that usually has like the Wikipedia information for it. Well, the Wikipedia information says, quote, superfood is a marketing term for food with supposed health benefits as a result of some part of its nutritional analysis or its overall nutrient density. Which sounds less good for you and more good for whatever food company is slapping that claim on their label. But I just thought this was an interesting distinction that I needed to bring up for no reason other than we needed an educational portion.
Absolutely.
Yep. Now, of course, many institutions are trying to combat childhood obesity, like the government's My Plate, which, if you're around Elroy and I's age, it's the food pyramid, kind of the same idea with a little different twist on it, or programming such as Sesame Street that ripped the heart out of but infused health into all of us when Cookie Monster began to inform us that cookies are indeed a sometimes food, or a never food if you're Elroy. The Cookie Monster and his pal Elmo star in Double Fine Sesame Street Once Upon a Monster, as I was explaining before. And it was pretty good at marrying the technology for the Kinect and learning lessons of friendship and fun and helping others. And in one of the chapters, Elmo and Cookie Monster, along with our friend furry old Grover, have to help Seamus, who's a character who was created for the game, prepare for a play. And one of the tasks in that chapter is to try out several costumes and to do poses in them. It's all very simple, low-key kind of stuff. Well, one of the poses is the noted superfood, broccoli.
Trade that burger for broccoli. Trade that bacon for Brussels sprouts. These things all start with B. B stands for obesity, which you won't be if you put down the bun.
And what pose does one have to strike to emulate the superfood broccoli?
Oh.
What
Do you
kind
get
of
to flex? Do you get to flex?
Well, we're going to find out, right? What kind of fabulous maneuver do you have to pull off to represent the food, which is an excellent source of vitamin C and K? How many calories do you have to expend to show that you are as super as this king of vegetables? Take a bow. That's it. Just take a bow.
What?
But really, it's appropriate. Broccoli should take a bow for all the good nutrients that it provides us. Why would it be included in a list of achievements about achievements that are not good for you or for your balanced diet? Well, that's because most of us don't eat broccoli in its natural state. It's either mixed with...
we don't.
You do. And you're the outlier.
I love my broccoli now. But
I actually love my broccoli too, but, I'm not going to lie. I've also eaten it all those other delicious ways it can be prepared, like mixed with some cheese slather or with butter or with, as one of those like 2 gross pieces of broccoli they include with your sesame chicken at a Chinese food place. Now, we're not really here to judge you, or, well, I'm not here to judge you. I can't speak to how Elroy is approaching this, on how you eat your food. But remember, when the achievement description states, quote, now go eat some broccoli, it probably isn't including all of these other awful ways to eat it. Just go grab some fresh store-bought broccoli or taken from a farmer's market and just rinse it off and enjoy it as it is.
Organic, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. After you soak it in baking soda. But yeah. All right. So I won't get bogged down in. You threw a lot out there. I have a lot of thoughts on that stuff, but I don't want to keep people for an hour and a half. So number 3, the food run, top of the food chain, which is worth $100. It's a $100 game score. So, in this groundbreaking game that is completely original, I mean, it features a circular hero who has little more than a mouth, who can move left, right, up, or down while eating. Yeah. Once all the food on the screen is gone, you advance to the next stage. I am so surprised that it didn't catch on in arcades all across the world a couple of decades ago. You played this one, Em?
I have, actually. It was one of those great streak extenders on Win 10 because everything came pretty easily. But it's a fun little game.
Yep. So, for this achievement, you simply have to eat 10,000 pieces of food, which can be kind of grindy at times, but it's not too bad. There's certain stages you can knock that out real fast. But the good part, besides the 100 gamer score, is that you will hit a couple other achievements along the way, such as the icing on the cake Chivo for eating 7,500 pieces of food. And guess what? It's worth 75 gamer score. I see what they did there. Now, the walkthrough guide, it is a fascinating read. I took this straight from the walkthrough. Let me read a part of it to you. Level 4-1. Right. Down. Right. Left. Up. Left. Right. Up. Right. Left. Up. Right. I mean, oh, woo! That is some colorful language, isn't it? I mean, it really puts you there. It paints a picture. I mean, it's hard to top that. I mean, so the reading alone is worth it, but that pretty much encompasses the entire game. It is impressive, however, that you can, that such a small little ball thing with a mouth can consume so much food. And that's why he's on this list, or she. But pizza, ice cream, apples, cakes, you name it, he, she, it will eat it all. The game is all about eating. Fortunately, the little dude is not sitting on the couch achievement hunting after consuming all those calories and evil carbs. She is up and moving, getting some exercise. If you make him turn where there isn't a wall, she will just keep on going forever or until your computer joins Skynet, becomes self-aware, and closes the stupid program before shooting you in the face. Now, what is really impressive is that the screen is not a hot mess with an accompanying amount of food run scat. So one can only assume that the food run guy has no orifice. I mean, I never saw one. And that it excretes its waste in other ways, possibly. Em, are you familiar with any animals that lack an anus?
It really wasn't a question I considered till like 4 seconds ago.
Well, there's a couple.
Wait, educational section part 2.
Oh, yes.
Go.
Educational section. Yes. Starfish and sea cucumbers. No anus. Okay. So, what's that? Wait. What'd you say? You want to know more about possum scat? Well, since you asked, possum scat, it's about medium to large size. It looks a lot like dog poo. It's about 3/4 inch in diameter or larger, and the ends are usually tapered, and the sides are usually smooth. So, it tends to be more curly than straight, and interestingly enough, sometimes mold will grow on the feces. Other times, it just wears a creepy mask and roars at light bulbs while protruding out of a toilet. Now, guess what, Em?
I can't. What?
That's all I got on this one.
Oh.
Rectum, I should have wrote more about it. But I didn't, since there's not a whole lot about this game.
Or you just keep being you. So, on that note, are we ready to move to number 2?
Number 2.
Are you drinking enough water? 60% of your body weight in ounces every day.
All right. So number 2 isn't following up on any of the droppings chatter. Now, there are certain entries that really just write themselves, right? Sometimes we come up with a list, and it's really because there's one game that comes to mind. So this is like
absolutely.
Barbie and her sister's puppy rescue in our aw list.
Yeah.
Or paying that awful adventure pop achievement to go away, since paying at all is no longer an option in our free to pay to go away list. So that said, it should be little surprise that everyone's favorite co-op kitchen adventure, Overcooked, landed on this list. Look, we know very well that just because a game seems like it would be a good match for a list, it doesn't mean that it is necessarily. Achievement names and actions are, unfortunately, frequently uninspired and fall into pretty bland categories of accomplish story-related task, or collect things, or kill things, or die a bunch. Thus, it's relieving that when a game pops to mind for one of our lists, that the research confirms it's actually a good choice. Elroy, you like puns, right?
I do. Guilty.
Right, and you started us off, as you frequently do, with a multitude of food puns. And so too does the achievement list in Overcooked. Let us begin. The first achievement in the game is just for starting the quest. And that's wonderful. It's food, it's punny, it's exactly what you want it to be. It's also sneaky in that, well, much like lettuce, it has little nutritional value of its own and will contribute only 1 point to your gamer score.
Must say so.
Go ahead. Say what you need to say.
I mean, well, it depends on the lettuce that you're eating.
Iceberg lettuce has like nothing.
I mean, yeah, it's
not
iceberg.
romaine.
Yeah, nothing. But the darker the lettuce, the better it is for you. You got to eat those greens. Just make a nice leafy salad. Eat one salad a day.
Right. If you have to eat kale, eat romaine, iceberg lettuce has nothing in it. It's just like water and gross leaves. Right? Is that fair?
That is a very fair statement.
Okay. Excellent.
Spinach is good for you. Spring mix too.
There's plenty of good dark green leafy vegetables. So, are you like now? I need to go back to finding my script and seeing if this makes sense anymore.
Sorry, you brought up lettuce. I overreacted. I'm sorry. I felt like it was going to explode if I didn't talk about lettuce.
Okay.
And then,
That's okay. We let you fix that problem. But where we started from is that, again, low nutritional value in iceberg lettuce, just like the 1 gamer score you get, which is low gamer score value. Mm-hmm. But if you're like me and you have a need to not have weird achievement values go unmatched, you can get the Hero of Time. Get it? Time? T-H-Y-M-E?
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm there with you.
Which you earn for completing the game. And that'll get you the 99 points. Or is it 199? I don't remember offhand now. But it evens up your gamer score. Oh. Now, my personal favorite punny achievement in the game is the Pieces I Ate. Sorry. Because while I get that they're apologizing for eating food, I like to imagine that they're apologizing for the pun pieces of 8, since this achievement is for finishing a kitchen on a pirate ship. So,
nice.
Yeah, and it's just a couple days after Talk Like a Pirate Day, so totally appropriate for everything that we're...
I actually honored that day at school. We have walkie-talkies. I'm one of the cool people that has a walkie-talkie, and not every teacher has one, so I'm special.
Ooh.
But yeah, so I'm at the bus stop every morning, and I have to report the bus status. And so I got on the walkie-talkie, and I just thought everybody knew it was that day, and so I was like, "Yar, Sergeant Dodgers, there'll be a bus fare for ya." And so I just talked like that for a good 5 minutes, keeping him updated and everything. And so then I went back and everyone was giving me strange looks, and I guess it was lost on these people. One person told me they didn't know what I was doing, and the second person said it sounded Russian. No one said it sounded like a pirate. So I guess I need to work on my pirate. So I'm doing Russian pirates apparently. So anyway, I digress. This isn't one of those work games, is it? Because well, no one's really gotten back to me if they want to go work on a farm with my Uncle Kenny or my Uncle Gary, but that offer's still on the table. But I guess maybe there's people in the cooking industry that would probably shake their head against this one too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I used to work in the food industry. I worked at Steak and Shake, and I wasn't. I was in the back office. I was the marketing guy for him. But yeah, that was a previous life, and I saw some stuff, man. There was like prostitution ring being ran out of there, and I. Oh yeah, so okay, so number one, Gluttonous from Dead Rising 3. So one of my favorite games on the Xbox One is Dead Rising 3. Y'all come at me. But, anyway, I'm sorry, I just felt defensive there for a second. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention good old Darlene in this celebration of childhood obesity. So one of the best and worst parts of Dead Rising 3, depending on who you're talking to, was the one-upping of over-the-top psychopaths. So in the original Dead Rising, the psychos, they were somewhat relatable, albeit a tad extreme. Like the photographer guy, it was kind of a stretch, but ultimately you could see how maybe someone could have had that reaction and gotten to that point when a zombie outbreak breaks out. And, if they got pushed to the limit, it was, I don't know. But, you have a shootout with Carlito right out of the gates. And spoiler alert, I mean, it's like 5 minutes into the game. But it was somewhat grounded. You could see that. It was normal-ish. But in Dead Rising 2, being a sequel, you have to do more. So a lot of the eccentricness of the psychos, it was upped. But you could attribute that to basically the Vegas-type atmosphere. So it wasn't really a stretch. You're like, yeah, okay, they're entertainers out there. So, it was somewhat still relatable. In Dead Rising 3, they said F it. And they just made the psychos huge caricatures of stereotypes such as women weightlifters or computer nerds, or in some cases they just went completely off the board, such as the battle with Dylan Fuentes. Have you seen this one? Yeah. If you do not know who Dylan Fuentes is, apparently it's a real person too. I didn't know that. And so I don't know if it came out, or this guy was before or after Dead Rising 3, but he's a very sexual man. He's kind of a gimp, if you will, gone rogue. So I guess this is what a gimp would do if they turned psycho during a zombie apocalypse type thing. So Dylan Fuentes, he will kill you with his flamethrower penis. Yes, flamethrower penis contraption. Now, sidebar, this flamethrower penis contraption, it is not forked, so he cannot impregnate a possum. But if you see the cutscene, I am willing to bet he would be up to the challenge. But attached to this contraption is 2 giant propane tanks that, as you might guess, are in the shape of testicles. Sorry, Johnny 5, too soon. But all I can say is, this battle is nuts. It is a ball, though. But this list, however, focuses on Dearest Darlene. This isn't about Dylan. This is about Darlene. And both these cutscenes are very much worth your time to look up on the YouTube. But Darlene is a representation of any obese woman that you have seen on a scooter at the Sizzler or maybe at Walmart. So you investigate the local Sizzler, and in this case, you run into a panicked man who is trying to get some food from the very plentiful buffet line. The problem is that Darlene is there, and she is hungry, and she wants all the food for herself, as evidenced by the, again, YouTube search-worthy cutscene in which Darlene says she is hungry and says that all the food is hers. Again, I'm a detective. Now, as Darlene demolishes about 10 burgers, the man slips from her view and attempts to get some food. What happens next can only be classified as the premier sport death sequence in video game history, as Darlene spots him, becomes enraged, and then scoots over to him and stabs him as vigorous as a massively obese woman is able to do. The whole thing is really forked up, and I will not forget it anytime soon. Now, side note, I do own a titanium spork. My brother got it for me. I have no idea why or where it currently is. Do you have any sporks? Yeah. You obviously question Darlene as to why she just eviscerated this guy like she was a velociraptor, a really, really fat velociraptor that is on a scooter. Velociscooter? I don't know. But speaking of which, being the caricature that she is, takes offense in the discussion that follows when you suggest that maybe she's had enough to eat. She starts screaming about how, "Are you calling me fat?" And a boss battle, not to be confused with a crab battle, takes place. Now, Darlene's main defense is that she keeps vomiting on you and everywhere else in the room, which causes you to slip as you try to avoid her attacks as she's trying to scoot on top of you and run you over and such. And any attempts to counter, it's hard to do when you're laying on the ground. But she is somewhat elusive as she scoots around, making gross guttural and intestinal noises like, yeah. And her belly flaps around like the handlebars. It's kind of comical at times, but fortunately, Darlene, as we established, is very hungry, and thus you can quickly dispose of her as she keeps shoveling food into her face during the battle. Once taken care of, in true spoiler alert, she charges you one last time, and her scooter slips on the vomit, causing her to land on her back, and then she proceeds to vomit blood into her own mouth, and then suffocate. Bleep bloop. You get your 25 gamer score as the gluttonous Chivo pops. Now, the main issue I have with this battle is that the spork is not the main weapon of choice. Rather, she opts for throwing kitchen knives at you instead of using the spork that she very handedly used in the opening cut of the cutscene. The spork is not even available for you to pick up, and it cannot be combined as a combo weapon. This is very unacceptable. They should re-release Dead Rising 3 and re-spork it, and where you play as Frank, who appreciates a good spork, and call it Dead Rising 3 off the menu. Sidebar, I found out this week that they closed the Dead Rising studio, and I'm very sad. Yeah, absolutely. And once again, we appreciate you listening and hope you enjoyed our nom 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 nominees. As M said, don't forget to pull up the show notes and send us any feedback. I mean, you should always be doing those pull-ups after all. And with that, let the countdown to our next list begin now.
Top 5! Childhood obesity achievement!
Hi, have you heard of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? Up to 100 players jump out of an airplane onto a huge landmass with nothing but cosmetic items and semi-realistically proceed to find weapons to kill each other with until only one player or team remains. It just got out of game preview as a 1.0 release, but it is still a broken mess. Buildings and weapons often take several seconds too long loading in, making you unpurposefully or purposefully walk through walls or missing critical equipment. Vehicles flip for no reason, players with bad connections teleport all over the place, and frame rate remains low and inconsistent, especially during critical firefights. To top it off, achievements are simply not tracking or unlocking for many of the players. It has come a long way since early game preview though. I haven't had it crash since 1.0, but my partners have often disconnected when entering a match. Despite its numerous flaws, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, shortened PUBG, has been my most played game since it hit game preview. It didn't even have achievements, and yet I put more than 400 hours into it. Why would I do that? The short answer is that it is really fun. The fact that the around 30-minute matches can be over at any second makes me excited in a way no other game has managed. Hiding for 5 minutes in a bush or a bathroom sounds like the opposite of fun, but for some reason it hasn't gotten old even after 1000 matches played. The huge maps can lead to entire games without enemy encounters until the final moments, and for some reason it doesn't bore me. Quite the opposite. I enjoy sneaking around, scrunching up the best equipment only for an unseen enemy sniper filling my skull with lead as the final few battle it out for the winner's chicken dinner. I did not see myself dumping hundreds of hours into this game, but it got its hooks into me deep, and I keep playing it despite none of the achievements working. As an achievement hunter, I cannot recommend this game. Even if they get them working, the achievement list is a huge grind with very little possibility of boosting and will likely take you more than 300 hours to complete. As a player constantly running into glitches and bugs, I cannot recommend this game. But here I am, queuing up for another go at grabbing another chicken dinner, as excited as ever. The reviewer, Waka, has played way too much PUBG and still enjoys it, unlocking 9 of the retroactive achievements out of the total 37, with 0 progress on the rest despite completing their requirements with close to 60 matches played since 1.0 released. Rise and shine, dear listeners. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you've stopped listening by now, but it's time to wake up and smell the ashes. This week's Quickie of the Week, presented by none other than Waka, is Rise and Shine. Rise and Shine is a challenging run and gun. From the moment not Link entrusts you with his sentient gun and the fate of the world until you dealt with not Marcus Phoenix, the number of gaming references that have passed you by will be staggering. While the graphics, sound and gameplay are very good, the script is seldom hit and mostly miss. Rise and Shine can be very difficult, but the generous checkpoints makes it manageable for most to make progress. 900 gamer score worth 1800 TA can be yours in 2 to 4 hours depending on how good you are at the game. Use a guide to pick up all the collectibles and make sure you get the required score in the minigames. If you miss anything, make sure you don't start a new game, as that will reset your progress. Instead, use the chapter select feature to mop up anything you might have missed. Rise and Shine's final achievement, worth 100 gamer score and 960 TA, is for beating the game without dying, except when it's required to progress. It's a daunting task that only 17 gamers on True Achievements have managed to do. There are tricks to make it easier, but it's still very difficult, and a legitimate attempt will take you around an hour to complete. Your TA rate will highly vary depending on your skill, and most of the TA is backloaded, but it should be between 400 to 900 TA per hour. Prepare for unforeseen consequences. Greetings, I'm Waka, and as I sit here enjoying my dirty chai tea, I'm pondering the fate of Telltale games. Loved by many for their narrative and easy gamer score, and equally scorned for their self-made engine that often collapsed in various ways throughout the games. Most know them for their first big hit, The Walking Dead, back in 2012, and their subsequent games. But Telltale was originally founded back in 2004 by former LucasArts employees. In my opinion, Telltale was the only company that managed to deliver quality content based on an episodic format over a long period of time. I've personally been a fan of them since 2007, when they released an episodic sequel to Sam & Max Hit the Road called Sam & Max Save the World. Before The Walking Dead, they made classic point-and-click adventures based on smaller licenses. Their only original IP was Telltale Texas Hold'em back in 2005, and the 2 excellent puzzle agent games released in 2010 and 2011. Both puzzle agent games are fantastic, surreal story-driven puzzle games with stated inspirations from David Lynch, Stanley Kubrick, and the Coen brothers. Such a shame Puzzle Agent 3 was never released. The company completely changed their ways after the release of their biggest hit, The Walking Dead, in 2012. The huge success of The Walking Dead made it their template for all their games going forward, with only small adjustments to the gameplay of the rest of Telltale's existence. The first season of The Walking Dead is one of the best games they ever made, and in my opinion deserved all the awards and nominations it received. It was such a great narrative. After the success of The Walking Dead, Telltale went from a small indie studio to a huge company employing around 400 people that churned out episode after episode in their licensed series. Telltale set their sights on big licenses and lost a lot of money on Batman, Guardians of the Galaxy and Game of Thrones, among others. While their engine was flawed and suffered occasional hiccup, their narratives were almost always excellent, with special mention to the surprisingly great Tales from the Borderlands. Sadly, quality and critical praise does not equal sales. Since the first season of The Walking Dead, only Minecraft Story Mode was profitable for them. As the company closes, it leaves half of the final season of The Walking Dead unfinished, as well as Stranger Things and the second seasons of The Wolf Among Us and Game of Thrones. While the internet shouting factory is busy demanding refunds and gleefully celebrating the death of a shitty visual novel company, I for one will miss Telltale and hope that all employees land on their feet. No one with a lick of financial sense is going to bail the company out of their current woes, but my hope is that, like Telltale rised from the ashes of LucasArts, new games or studios will emerge from Telltale.